But before we do that, I have another subject I'm pissed off about, and it's NASCAR, because NASCAR is literally becoming the stubborn jackass that is just not going to do it because they said so. And I'm getting so sick and tired of it. It is starting to really piss me off. So what am I talking about? Well, as you guys know, NASCAR season's it's over, okay? And Ryan Blaney won the championship at Phoenix, and a few weeks later, the teams, right, a bunch of them, not all of them, but a handful of teams, went all the way back out to Phoenix to do some testing. Now, NASCAR was doing this because they need to fix the short track package on these cars. This is obvious, okay? We've talked about this literally ad nauseum. Like, it's been a subject of conversation every single short track and road course race. These cars were built to work on the short tracks and the road courses, and they don't. Well, I shouldn't say they don't. The problem is they work so well, the racing sucks, okay? It's horrible racing. You've got these cars that are now phenomenal on the speedways, the mile and a half tracks. The racing is incredible. You get these things on a short track, the racing sucks. It's horrible. And there's a lot of reasons for this, okay? Well, at least NASCAR says there's a lot of reasons for this. And so they went to fix these problems, to test these issues. First of all, the first thing that pisses me off is if you haul the teams across the country a few weeks after they were just there. Folks, they didn't go to Florida, okay? They went to fucking Phoenix, Arizona. That is literally across the United States for them, okay? It's literally across the United States. If you're going to have teams do that, don't start scratching stuff off the test list. Don't just start, well, we can't do this now, or we can't do this because it's going to take too long, or this is going to... And that's what they started doing. They were going to start trying to figure out the transaction and the shifting. Well, they just took that off the list. We can't do that. It's going to take the team too long to figure it out. Yeah, we're not going to do that. Well, then why'd you bring them out there? Like, what are we doing? And give a better reason than that, okay? Because this is the thing that's pissing fans off, at least fans like myself and the people that I know and that I'm talking to. I don't care if change doesn't happen. This is the thing that I want you to understand, because I'm going to come across as somebody who's just mad that they're not changing things. That's not the case. I'm not mad that they're not changing things. I am mad that they refuse to fucking try them in the first place. That's what pisses me off, okay? When you sit there and folks, I am not a racing engineer, okay? I'm not an engineer. I don't study computational fluid dynamics. I don't have a freaking wind tunnel, yet I can tell you right now that changing the aero on a short track package is going to do little or nothing to these cars. You don't need to be a genius to figure that out. Folks, they go 55, 60 miles per hour at Martinsville. What is the aero going to do? That is the same as the jackass who runs the huge wing on the back of his Honda Civic at the drag strip. That does nothing, okay? It does nothing. So what are we doing? Why are we messing with aero on a short track package? That's so... You want to tell me, oh, well, this is for Dover or this is for Bristol? Fine, they fly there. Phoenix, Martinsville, New Hampshire, that does nothing. It does nothing. So why are we wasting our time? Not only that, when you pull aero off the cars, what you are doing is you are reducing the grip. Folks, let me explain how grip works on a tire. Once again, you don't have to be an engineer to know this. The more downforce you have, the more the tire will grip up. This is why teams focus so much on downforce. It's why we saw the evolution of NASCAR like we did back in the day in the early 2000s, right? If you guys all remember when it first started happening, that was the big joke around NASCAR, right? With the whole, 3 5s and a 7, 3 5s and a 2, which is basically it was a coil bind spring setup where they ran basically 3 springs on the right front, left rear. And usually it would be 3 500-pound springs and then a 700 on the right rear. There was also one that they called the 3 5s and a 2, which was 3 500s and a 200-pound spring. Okay, and all that did was it coil bound the car to where it basically they could get it as low as possible dynamically to the tracks. They could maximize downforce. Once that started, everything changed. Everything changed. And when you increase the downforce, that increases the grip of the tire. When you increase the grip of the tire, that increases the heat of the tire. Heat is what we need for the tires to fucking wear. You have a tire right now that is almost as hard as granite, and you're taking downforce away from it, which is going to do nothing but increase the wear on it in terms of the life of the tire. You got people out there running 150 laps at a track like Martinsville on tires, and they're not slowing down. That's insane. That's not NASCAR racing. This is what NASCAR is. I'm so tired of it. Or you need horsepower. It's really simple. You need horsepower and you need to reduce the contact patch of the tire. You don't need to be an engineer to figure this out. It is so simple. It is so simple. And I am so sick and tired of hearing about new manufacturers. You show me the manufacturer that says they're going to come to NASCAR if the horsepower stays this. It's not happening. I don't want to hear about it. We got new manufacturers showing up in Formula One. They're building 1,000 horsepower engines that are primarily, the new engine deal in 2026, those cars are going to be more electric than freaking gas. They're not even running gas anymore. They're running biofuel. The amount of money that it takes to develop an F1 engine is insane. Insane. One engine costs more than $10 million when you look at it on an R&D and a build perspective. Yet NASCAR is telling us that manufacturers want to come in because of our horsepower. That is so stupid. We have created the world's most expensive 670 horsepower engine on the face of the earth. Keith, do you not think it's absurd that me and you right now could go down to a car dealership and I could buy a car with more power than a NASCAR? That is moronic, right? I'm not the only one who feels this way. I can't be.
No, absolutely not. Like it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts that the Xfinity cars have more fucking horsepower than a Cup car.
It's
highest
absurd.
Level of American motorsports does not even have as much horsepower as an Xfinity car.
Yes, it's absurd.
And we wonder why Xfinity racing is so much more fun to watch than Cup racing.
Yes.
I'm sorry, it is.
It is. It's a better product right now. And the only thing that separates the two is the best drivers just happen to be in Cup. But the racing is far better in Xfinity. The Xfinity package is way better. And the fact that you've got these cars and they've got the horsepower is low. And don't talk to me about costs. I'm so sick of hearing about costs. The cost is basically the same. Go ask the car owners. They'll tell you, dude, our engines cost just as much as they did when we were running 900 horsepower. All right. Now, when Doug Yates comes out and says, dude, all we got to do is pull this tapered spacer off, and it's basically the same. We'd have 750 horsepower. NASCAR will say, well, that won't do anything. Hell, Tyler Reddick was on the Door Bumper Clear podcast, okay? And he said, look, I was in the sim. We had this, basically, they were doing a sim test where he was like, we could up the horsepower. And, he's like, we cranked it up to 750, 770, something like that. And he was like, and the difference was, hardly noticeable. Now, that's a sim, right? We all know that sim is not a one-to-one comparison, but it does give us an idea. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter. This is the thing that NASCAR doesn't seem to get through their fucking heads, and this is what pisses me off. They're not even trying. They're talking to the drivers and the fans like we're a bunch of just moronic idiots, too dumb to know our head from our ass, and we need a helmet to walk around our house. That's how they talk to us. No, we can't do it. It's too expensive. You just sit back. You don't know what you're talking about. Yes, the owners have said this. The engine builders have said this, but no, we need to be at this because of new manufacturers, and costs would be too high. Give me a break, man. That is a joke. The reason why costs are as high as they are right now is when you take a product like NASCAR and you put it in a box that is so tight that you are not looking for 10 horsepower. You're looking for a half a horsepower. You're looking for 1 horsepower. When your margins are that narrow, it costs a ton of money to develop that. A ton of money to develop that last little bit. It's not massive gains you're searching for. You're searching for thousandths of a second on the track, which is why it costs so much money, because everyone is so close. The days of figuring something out and being like, dude, man, this gained us a half a second on the track, those days are gone. It's not happening no more. And that's fine. That's fine. You want to run the NASCAR's, basically box of Legos that is turned into the next gen Cup car, whatever. Great. But don't sit there and tell me that it's about costs when costs are basically the same, if not more than they were. And we have not seen this short track package get any better by any stretch of the means. And when you go and you do these tests and the driver's like, yeah, dude, I really didn't feel a difference. I mean, and if you hadn't told me what was on the car, I don't think I would have noticed at all. That is horrific. And when almost every single driver to a man and motor builders, even car owners are saying, dude, we need more horsepower. And NASCAR just sits there and treats them like they're nothing but a bunch of immature little children sitting at the kiddie table. Like, no, you don't know best. We do. We got this. That's when you see people like me get pissed off, because it's not the fact of whether or not we have more horsepower. It's the fact that they aren't even trying. They're not trying. And because they're not trying, they are killing what made NASCAR great. What made NASCAR great is you had ordinary men driving extraordinary machines doing incredible feats. And that is going away. And it's sad to see, because they had a chance with this car. They had their opportunity to start revitalizing this sport, and it seems that they're going in the wrong direction. And as a fan that was gone and has come back, it pisses me off, and it's sad to see.